I'm a clinical psychologist, and yet over 20 years ago I had a panic attack, but I had no idea what it was, and it felt like the symptoms lasted for a whole day. In this video we're going to discuss how long a panic attack lasts, and to do that I'm going to need a rock and some water. Imagine feeling like you're nauseous, you're getting dizzy, you feel trapped and you feel like you're kind of choking. Sounds like you're inside a fire or maybe even having a heart attack, but they're the symptoms of a panic attack, and sometimes those intense feelings can feel like they're lasting a really long time. Before I explain exactly how long a panic attack lasts, let me explain a little bit about how they work. So when you throw a rock into water, you produce a massive splash, and then that's followed by ever-decreasing ripples. The actual rock only takes a second to go into the water, the splash takes a second, but then those ever-decreasing ripples last quite a while before they eventually peter out and the water becomes calm again. That's kind of like how a panic attack works. So before you get the panic attack, you will experience some kind of triggering event, a thought that goes off in your mind that something terrible, some impending doom is about to happen. You'll feel like you're in some immediate danger and there's immediate threat, even if there isn't a real threat around you. The rock is like the trigger. Now, as the rock spins towards the water, it represents the fear in your mind, it represents the bodily sensations, and it represents the misinterpretation of those sensations as something catastrophic. So the big splash represents the actual panic attack. Those sensations of dizziness, the shortness of breath, all those things that feel like everything's closing in on you and you just are about to lose control and you need to get out of there immediately. The first ripple after that first splash is almost identical to the first panic attack. But every ripple after that is decreasing in size. The sensations become less and less. Left alone, the panic attack fades away pretty quickly. But if you don't let that panic attack slow down gently and you try to fight it, it's going to rear its ugly head again. So the whole process happens again, and it's like a rock being thrown one after another. It's like a whole group of kids throwing rocks into the water. It takes forever before the water becomes calm again. This means that the panic attack that was only really supposed to last 5 to 10 minutes now feels like it's lasting for a really long time. So as any doctor might tell you, a panic attack only lasts around 5 to 10 minutes, but that's the main part of the panic attack, the big splash. But after that, you will get residual effects, those ripples that happen afterwards. They're not as intense as the original panic attack, but they still cause physical sensations. So you might continue to feel shaky and nauseous for up to a day later. Now, panic attacks can feel like they've come from absolutely nowhere, like they just come out of the blue, which is the scariest thing about them. When I throw a rock, I'm actually triggering the event by setting an intention, I'm going to throw a rock, and then I actually do it. But when it comes to a panic attack, there is a triggering event, but you might not be aware of it, which is why it sometimes feels like it's come from nowhere. But if you were to thoroughly examine it afterwards, you might find that there was some kind of fleeting thought that preceded the panic attack. Now, just because you had a panic attack, it doesn't mean you have an anxiety disorder. It doesn't even mean you have a panic disorder. You would have to have an awful lot of panic attacks for you to be diagnosed with panic disorder. But if you have a specific phobia, then of course you can have panic attacks when you're exposed to the feared situation. I'm not saying they're easy though. Lots of people misinterpret a panic attack as a heart attack because they feel so intense. So what have you learned today? Well, we know that panic attacks only last for 5 or 10 minutes, but that it can appear to last longer because of the ripple effects. And they're very real physical sensations that you will feel in your body for up to a day. So what can you do next? Well, I would suggest learning and paying attention to the sensations within your body, because it's the misinterpretation of this that can cause a panic attack to occur in the first place. So try out my body scan meditation, which helps bring attention to your body and the sensations that you feel within it, the normal sensations. And my second recommendation is try journaling. It will give you the superpower of self-awareness, making connections between thoughts, events, feelings, and sensations within your body, and tie that in with how you act in future situations.